Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. I am your host, Harrison Graham. You can give me a follow on Twitter at HGrahamNFL. More Bears and just overall sports takes, news, and rumors over there as well. And speaking of news, we have kind of breaking news. Mike Pennel has signed on a one-year deal. We briefly mentioned him on Tuesday as a player trying out for Chicago. Most likely for the veterans minimum, as he is more of a depth defensive tackle at this point in his career. But past couple of years he's spent with the Kansas City Chiefs, and hey, I actually think he's played pretty darn well as a part-time starter and mostly backup with Kansas City. Now, in 2020, he wasn't as good as he was in 2019. 2019, the Chiefs signed him mid-season, and he really helped that run defense out as they made a run toward the Super Bowl and, of course, won it that year. Last year, he's not a rah-rah stats guy. He's not much of a pass rusher here, is Mike Pennel, but he's a guy who can stop the run pretty well. He can eat up blockers, and he's a veteran that knows how to play that nose tackle position, which is very valuable right now considering the question marks around Eddie Goldman and, of course, what we told you or what we failed to tell you guys earlier today because we had already filmed. Bilal Nichols also dealing with the toe injury as well. So Mike Pennel signs on a one-year deal. I think this is a good and a smart move from the Chicago Bears front office. So go back to school for me. Grade the Mike Pennel signing, A, B, C, D, or F. Considering it's a one-year cheap deal, I assume, for the veterans minimum, this is like A-. This is a good deal. It's at a position where depth is slowly becoming a question mark. I like this move overall. I'll give it an A-. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. So you look at this spot, or this depth chart now, and Eddie Goldman, if they're all healthy in there, he's your starter, but we haven't seen him in a year and a half. He skipped minicamp. Bilal Nichols, who could slide over and play nose tackle, he's dealing with a toe injury right now. And so you go and sign Mike Pennel because Kyrus Tonga, while I like his potential, he is a seventh-round rookie out of BYU. Pennell's a guy who has played in recent years. Now, more on Eddie Goldman here, as he, of course, has skipped Bears minicamp, and as we discussed on our video earlier today, 2 videos one day just for you guys here, we haven't seen him play football since December 22nd of 2019. Not 2020, 2019. We haven't seen him in a while. Is Pennel insurance for Goldman because there's some unknown there? Perhaps. I don't think you can rule it out. I think if you're operating a football team objectively, you have to have at least a little bit of concern about Eddie Goldman. Didn't play last year. He's a nose tackle, well over 300 pounds. Is he going to show up to training camp super out of shape? Is he going to be the same player after a year off, after he opted out for COVID-19? I think signing Pennel at the minimum is insurance. Maximum, he comes in and he's a rotation player for this defensive line. How concerned are you guys with Eddie Goldman? Scale it from 1 to 10 for me. Let me know down in the comments section. Told you earlier, I'm probably at about a 7. I'm fairly concerned with Eddie Goldman. Hopefully he comes to training camp in shape and looks like the same guy we saw in 2018 and 2019, but I think there's reasons to be skeptical of that being the case. Now get subscribed to Chicago Bears Now because this is what we do. When news happens, when rumors are floating around, we break it down here on this channel, youtube.com/BearsNow. Second Bears video of the day for you guys, so when stuff happens, we bring it to you. Subscribe, hit that big red button, and don't miss any of our coverage here on Chicago Bears Now. Also wanted to cover the news, or a slight rumor as well. Could the Bears leave Chicago? Well, the Bears announced earlier today that they have placed a bid for a property in Arlington Heights called the Arlington International Racecourse Property. It's basically a racetrack out there. You local Chicagoans have probably gone to some races out there before. It's a big enough property where you could build a brand new state-of-the-art stadium. There is no doubt about that. And we've covered this quite a bit. A move to Arlington Heights has been rumored off and on for a couple of years now due to the state of Soldier Field lacking modern, qualities of a stadium. Capacity is lowest in the NFL. The stadium's 100 years old. You got to improve that stadium if you're going to stay at Soldier Field. Here's what Ted Phillips had to say, the Bears president and CEO. Quote, "We recently submitted a bid to purchase the Arlington International Racecourse property. It's our obligation to explore every possible option to ensure we're doing what's best for our organization and its future. If selected, this step will allow us to further evaluate the property and its potential." So what's been a rumor for a while is at least now confirmed as a legitimate rumor. The Bears are thinking about a move here. You can't dispute it at this point in time. It is possible that they could leave the city of Chicago for Arlington Heights. Now, it's not like the Rams going from St. Louis to LA. It's still close to Chicago, obviously, but Chicago, a lot of you folks that live in Chicago, y'all are proud people. So, like, you got to figure this out if you want to stay in Chicago. You got to upgrade Soldier Field, or you got to build a new stadium in Chicago. The city hasn't been that supportive, which we will outline from Mayor Lori Lightfoot in just a few moments. Will the Bears leave the city of Chicago? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I'd say it's at least 50-50. I think there's a decent chance if no stadium upgrades come in the near future or a new location in Chicago isn't selected. Don't be surprised if they move to Arlington Heights. That's why they they bidded for property, because they are dotting their I's and crossing their T's on a potential move. Now, the mayor of Chicago released, well, let's just call it an interesting quote earlier today. Quote, "We want the organization to focus on putting a winning team on the field, beating the Packers finally, and being relevant past October." You know what? This is one of the most tone-deaf quotes of all time. It really is. This is one of the most tone-deaf quotes in history. Like, I don't care about local Chicago politics. I really don't. But for the mayor of Chicago to come out and say, hey, maybe you should focus on beating the Packers and being more relevant later into the season than on a potential move to Arlington Heights. If I'm the Bears, I'm like, okay, I'll just leave then. Like, if we're not going to get support from the higher-ups in the city, like, what are we doing here? I mean, that is just a brutal quote from the mayor of Chicago. Hopefully her PR team is on top of this, because that is one for the record books. There is no doubt about that. So we'll see what happens, man. I think this is a story that is not going to go away. I think if you're going to stay in Chicago, you either got to majorly upgrade. I don't even know if majorly is a word, but you got to upgrade the facility at Soldier Field, add seats, add some nice, what do they call them, suites in the stadium as well, so you can get some of those rich folks in Chicago to pimp those out as well, and get more fans in the stadium, because this is Chicago. This isn't the Jags. This isn't Cincinnati. This is one of the original franchises in the National Football League. Get a better stadium. It's not that hard to figure out, and if it's not going to happen in Chicago, maybe it's going to happen in Arlington Heights. So before we sign off, what is your favorite memory at Soldier Field? Because there's certainly a lot of them. There's no doubt about that. Get your votes in on this one. What is your favorite memory for all time, especially for you longtime Bears fans at Soldier Field? Go ahead and let me know. I'll be reading them in the comments section. And quick reminder to subscribe before we log off for the day, youtube.com/BearsNow. Share that link with all of your Bears fans. We are friends as well. We're growing like crazy here on the channel, and I want to keep plugging out videos for you guys. So subscribe, hit that big red button. We cover the latest news and rumors. We'll see you next time here on Chicago Bears Now.